to our event today. I am Catherine from Grace Company, and I'm here with...
I'm Jana. I'm from Grace Company as well.
And we are so excited to be here with our friends from Tops Vacuum and Sewing. Who do we have over there today?
Jeremiah with Tops Vacuum and Sewing in Port Charlotte, and
Megan.
Yay! Hello, Jeremiah and Megan. We're excited to be here with you today. So we are talking about some of my favorite products: Little Rebel, Cutie Breeze, and automation.
It's true, and I think it's important to say that they are in Port Charlotte, because we got that question last time. Where are they? Where can I come? It's like, you can go anywhere, but if you want to go and watch Jeremiah and Megan, you can go to the Port Charlotte store. But yeah, definitely. If you see down here at the bottom, how to get a hold of Tops for all these amazing specials, everything Grace, you know, don't hesitate to call them, go on the website. But if you want to go and watch the live with Jeremiah and Megan, then yeah, they're at Port Charlotte.
Yes. And I believe this is the phone number to the Port Charlotte store. Is that correct, Jeremiah?
941-766-7118. That is correct.
That is. So yes, if you're ready to purchase or have any questions or anything, you will get them at that number, but you can also order on their website, which we put down there, topsvacuumandsewing.com. But yes, this phone number will take you right to the Port Charlotte store. You can talk to Jeremiah and Megan.
I mean, not right now.
No, wait until we're done. Exactly. You don't even know.
Too, topsvacuumandsewing.com, we have a fantastic code right now too, and I'll announce it again at the end. Grace20 is our code. So topsvacuumandsewing.com, when you're ready to make a purchase, enter that code and get a special discount.
Yes, we'll definitely keep reminding you throughout our event here what that code is. Without the code, you don't get the discount. So remember that code again. Jeremiah just said Grace20. As well as if you're going online to purchase, it'll ask you for a code, and that's the code that you'll want to give. So let's just talk a little bit about Tops. Where are you guys located? And let's talk about your special 2 new stores somewhere different. Jeremiah and Megan, give us a little rundown of Tops Vacuum and Sewing.
Oh, goodness. Well, our new stores are in Texas. So there's Plano and Houston, which is very exciting. I have not been there. I'm enjoying the heat here. And then here we have a ton of locations. I still forget how many we have. We have Naples, Fort Myers, Port Charlotte, Sarasota, Palm Harbor,
Lakewood Ranch, Largo, Tampa, Boca Raton, Pembroke Pines. Did I miss any, Josh? Josh is our tech guy, you know, in the background.
He's checking them off. Yeah.
Well, I feel like I counted 9 and there's 10, so you're missing someone. But
Port Charlotte.
Oh, did you say Port Charlotte?
And then
Palm Harbor.
Anyway, there's 10 locations all throughout Florida. And then, of course, the 2 new ones there in Texas, Plano and Houston. Super excited for you guys to have so many locations, especially the 2 new ones kind of outside of your comfort zone there in Florida. That's really fun.
And I would like to add as well that all of our locations sell and service Grace products. That's really important for everyone to know.
I love
so
that.
nice.
Yeah, that they don't have to go to just Port Charlotte to get information about Grace or to buy Grace, that they can go all the places and get all that information. That's so nice and so helpful as a customer, that they don't have to keep traveling, that they can come and get your fabric, your other accessories, and Grace product all in one place.
Exactly.
And in the state of Florida, I think Tops pretty much is the Grace dealer in the state of Florida.
I think so too. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else.
We, service in-home all of the Grace products throughout the state of Florida. If a customer purchases a machine and they need in-home service, if they need in-home setup and delivery, we do offer that, which is really something that a lot of retailers don't offer. So we really do that kind of stuff. So I think it's very special.
It is, and you know what I would like to mention is I have met the Tops team. I've worked with them at a show. They are fantastic. They are the nicest people and so knowledgeable. I mean, Jeremiah, you know everything Grace, which I love. And if you don't know, you're not afraid to ask to get that question answered for your customers. So I love that as well.
And you tell me what I need to know. That's what matters. And I think, it's important to tell our customers as well, the big reason why we are so successful with Grace is because Grace is such a good company. And, they support us. So if our retailer or if our vendors don't support us, we can't support our customers. But Grace is always wonderful in answering all of our questions. Anything we need, they're always there for us. So I appreciate that too, guys.
You guys are awesome. So we are excited about this event. We have talked about the Little Rebel Cutie Breeze before, but we wanted to explain how automation can work with this setup. I mean, you can have a whole system for such a great price point in a small space out at your house.
I think that small space is, like people think of automation, I have to get the 10 foot or 12 foot or even 5 foot.
Yeah.
And so, and with their legs, like they think that they have to do this. So I love that we're gonna talk about automation on not just the Cutie, but you don't have to have the quilting machines, that you can use the Little Rebel and then switch it out and still do piecing with it. So all those things that are beneficial of the Little Rebel, the piecing, the sewing, you can still do, but then you can connect it to automation when you put it on the frame.
It's a full system. I mean, you've got your sewing machine, like Jana said, you do all your piecework, take that, put it on your frame, and you can either free motion with it or do automation. And then when you're done, and if you have a small place that you've got your quilting sewing area in, you can pull it apart, tuck it in a closet somewhere, have your guests come over and it's not in the way. So, I mean, it's really a system for everyone. Yeah.
I'm really excited. And people think like, oh, it can only do the base, because QCT6 has 3 tiers.
Yes.
And so I've heard people say like, oh, you can only get the bottom version with the Little Rebel and Cutie, and that's not true.
No.
You can go all the way from QCT6 to Plus to Pro, whatever is working best for you and what you're ready to design or quilt with. You don't have to just go with the bottom level.
Absolutely, yes. So if you're, wanting to get in and do some work and maybe do a little side job and do some finish work for people and make a little money, you can go right up to that Pro version that'll give you all the different options. And we'll talk about all of those with the automation. But yeah, it's a full system in a small package.
In a small package.
Yeah.
We love it. With a small price.
With a small price.
Something I'd like to add as well is, we have a lot of people who start with the base version and then they realize, oh, I actually want to be able to do borders and corners. I want to be able to do block by block. I want to be able to add my own design. So a lot of people end up starting with the base version and then they very quickly upgrade. So that's what we typically see a lot.
Well, and I love that we have the option of upgrading to the next level without repurchasing the entire program again. So we'll talk about that a little bit again. We're just kind of going to go through a quick run through of the Little Rebel Cutie Breeze, and then we'll go through a little bit more details about the automation. Are you ready for us to get started, guys?
We're ready.
All right.
So we're going to start on the Cutie first or the Little Rebel first?
Let's talk about the Cutie first. Let's start with frame.
I'm going to lift this up just a little bit.
So we've got our Cutie Breeze here. We've got it loaded with this beautiful quilt top. And you can see we've got it sitting on this table. The nice thing about the Cutie, it's so small. It's cute. It's a cutie,
it's
right?
A cutie.
It can fit on a table 2 foot by 4 foot. That's what we put it on when we're at shows.
Yeah, it's just where the rail, not the rails, the tracks are here left and right. So that's 2 feet right there. So that's the minimum.
And that's the most important part that needs to be sitting flat on your table.
And I'm gonna hold this so it doesn't move, but if you lift up the Cutie to show you, it's not even connected to the table. A lot of people say like, how do I clamp it down?
Yep.
It just has some rubbers strips underneath that help hold it in place so it doesn't slide.
Yeah.
Now, occasionally we've tried to put a tablecloth on our table and then put the cutie on. That doesn't allow the rubber to attach to the table, and so it does slide around a little bit.
Starts migrating a little bit
so you gotta
because
make
it's
sure,
on the tablecloth.
Yeah, there's nothing between the rubber and the frame that's here. So
The table, yeah.
Or the table, yeah.
Yeah, so small space, small table, those smaller tables you can get most at any of your shopping locations, Walmart, Costco, anywhere really,
Or just your sewing table, or your cutting table, or your kitchen table. Or I had someone who took the cutie outside onto her patio.
Oh.
Again, that's a place, you know, in Florida, there's a lot of good weather there. Hers was covered, and so she's like, she called it a lanai.
Oh, yes.
But she was like, I quilt out on my lanai because the cutie, I can move it out there, I can bring my machine and frame, and it's easy to lift and move it around. And she's like, then I can quilt outside when it's nice weather. Probably not right now.
It might be a little hot.
Might be a little warmer, but you know, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's really nice. You can, it's small enough, really. A lot of you there that might be currently in RVs or campers because you're traveling for the summer. It'll fit really nicely, just even on a small table in your camper. So, like, you can take it on the go. It's really nice that way. I love the cutie. It's such a good frame, size-wise, but you don't lose what it can do. So let's talk a little bit about the size of quilts that you can make on a cutie frame.
You can do a runner.
Okay.
A table wall hanging.
Yes.
Let's see, a twin, a baby quilt.
Yes.
Full size, queen size, king size.
We can do all of those on the cutie.
Yeah.
How does that work? It's such a small frame.
Yeah, so one is the clips here. You can see our extra fabric is being held here in the back, and the extra is being floated in the front. Now, if I really wanted to, I could get extra clips here. If you've got cats or dogs or any other pets like children, and you're afraid of your quilt not wanting it to drag on the floor or anything like that, you can get these additional clips. They come in a pack of 3, and then you can put them on the front and roll up your fabric so it's held in place, so that you're not having fabric management. Because that's the whole thing of having a frame is managing that fabric so that you're not having issues it being all over the place, right? Because that's the whole point of putting on a frame rather than pushing it through your machine.
Right.
And having shoulder issues, different stuff like that.
Yeah, so when we're working on a larger quilt, it's super easy as far as shifting your fabric. It does take a little practice, honestly, but after you've done it a couple times, I've seen some people do it so fast that I didn't even notice they were moving their fabric. But when you're doing a larger quilt, you'll start on the top left corner. You'll go
like a piece of paper.
Yep, like a piece of paper. You'll start stitching your beautiful design. You'll do this area, and then just like an embroidery hoop, you'll move your fabric over so you can do the next blank area.
And I find when I'm moving it over, especially as I'm going just straight across the top, not necessarily when I'm coming down, but I'll leave the needle down.
Yes.
So that now this is free motion, because with automation, it'll tell you where to do stuff.
Exactly.
But as I'm pulling, I will leave this clip on and this clip on and take off these other ones. And so when I pull the fabric, the clip stays in place and the needle stays in place and drags it so that it all starts where I'm supposed to start again. So it's a lot easier that way rather than taking everything off, sliding it down and trying to straighten it to where it was before.
Now, Jeremiah, I have a question for you. So when we were at a show, did we show you how this worked with moving the fabric with the needle down?
Yes, you did.
Okay. It's a fantastic trick. Keeps you in the same spot that you, just like Jana said, it keeps you in the same spot so you know where to start again. So if you need help with that, Jeremiah knows how to do it. He can show you. But once you've done it a couple times, you're like, oh, this is fantastic. Such a great tip and trick. Something I also love to mention about the Cutie, the Cutie has its own Facebook group, has all these groupies. It's the Cutie Facebook group, and people that own Cuties have joined this Facebook page.
Yeah, we didn't create it.
We did not create it. It's people that had, it's a Cutie groupie, and they started this group, and so many questions are asked and answered on that Facebook page. So if you're struggling, or you're
especially after hours and Tops, or
if Tops
Grace isn't
closed,
open,
exactly. Go into this Cutie Facebook page, ask your question, and you'll get the answers. I mean, it's a fantastic group that I love that Cutie has its own Facebook page, right?
And it's funny because that group actually started a Little Rebel Facebook page too. So the same thing, questions on the Little Rebel, you can join that Facebook group and just get your questions answered when Tops and Grace are closed, and you can have those answers, because a lot of quilters quilt on the weekends, and so when they have questions.
And I know Tops is open, they have great hours, and they'll always answer your phone calls when they're open. So if you have questions and you need anything answered, you can always give them a call, and they'll be happy to answer your questions.
Okay, so Little Rebel.
Little Rebel, okay.
Oh, one thing on the Cutie, it can take domestic machines.
Yes.
So don't feel like you have to buy the Little Rebel. You can just get the Cutie, but you can also go up to 19 inches throat space.
Yes.
So our 16-inch machines and our 19-inch machines will also fit on here. So if you start using the Little Rebel and you're like, you know what, I'm tired of moving it off and on, I just want to use it as piecing, I'm ready to upgrade to the Unique machines, all this automation, you get all the parts for it. So don't feel like, oh, I have to get another whole set or anything like that, right? It's just, it's able to grow with you.
Well, and I love that you mentioned it can take a domestic machine, because there's going to be people out there that they're not quite ready to invest the cost that it would take for a new machine, but they've got a machine that they love and they want to give it a try. So
see if that frame quilting is really for them.
Exactly. And so with the Cutie, you can put your own domestic machine on it. We have a fantastic price, and we're going to say that code again. It's going to be GRACE20 to get a fantastic price on the website or when you're calling.
Don't know which way it looks on the screen.
GRACE20. We'll keep giving you that code so you know what that is. But yeah, if you're just ready to kind of get started but not ready to invest the full shebang yet, go ahead and try it out with your own domestic machine. It works very similar, maybe not quite the throat space that the Little Rebel has, which we're going to talk about.
And doesn't work with Quilt Motion.
Yes, doesn't work with the automation, but it's a good starting point, and I love that. I love that with Grace products, we have a pathway for everyone, not just the pro quilters, but our beginning quilters as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that being said, we're going to talk here a little about the Little Rebel. So this is our newest machine. We've had it in our lineup a little over a year, and it is fantastic. It comes with a few different things that some of our other machines don't have. Optical encoder is the main thing that I'm thinking.
And it's right down here, right on the plate of near the plate of it.
Yes.
So when you're running, you'll see that our frame is slightly tilted. And the reason we do that is to make sure that the fabric covers that encoder the whole time. Most quilting frames, you're trying to keep them level, but just with the Little Rebel on a frame, you just want to tilt it just slightly. You know, like if this one's at 4, this one's at 3.5, just to make sure that optical encoder can read. Because what it does is it has lasers that shoot up and can tell how fast it's going back and forth.
And if it's shooting up and it's not reading anything, it's not giving you the stitch regulation, which let's talk about stitch regulation. So stitch regulation, that's going to be what keeps your stitches the same consistent length, whether you're going faster or whether you're going slower. You know, as you're sewing, if you go faster or slower, your stitches, if you don't have stitch regulation on your machine, get longer, get shorter. It's not as beautiful as, you know, quilters are a little bit particular on their stitching. They really want them to look perfect. We all know this. And that's what the stitch regulator does for you.
And for the Little Rebel, it's 1,600 stitches per minute. The nice thing about that means that there's a very powerful motor here.
Yes.
So we've had people stitch not just regular cotton for their quilts. We've had a couple people try some leather stuff. There was a person who stitches motorcycle seats.
Yes.
And so he was doing leather. I've had people use canvas as their stitching, right? Like they're making bags or something. And then denim, doing those denim quilts. That's so wonderful, having it strong enough to be able to handle those kinds of thicker fabrics.
Right. I mean, it may look like your domestic machine, but it's a heavy duty industrial machine that can go through many layers and through heavier fabrics.
Well, and I love that picture because just looking at it, it looks like a little tiny machine because typically a machine doesn't have such a big harp. And so in our minds, we've kind of shrunk it.
Yeah.
Like that's not 13 inches throat space and 8.5 inch harp. It looks more like 6 inches.
Yes.
But when you see it all the way out, it's got that big throat space, 13 inches from the needle all the way to the back of the machine. And so you've got this big section, like I think I could stick my head in here and be just fine. So a lot of fabric can be here, whether you're doing push quilting or if you're doing frame quilting with automation. You can get that nice big king size quilt and it can roll up in here without having to worry about how do I turn it around and all those things that people have asked before. So that's going to be a lot easier to take care of.
Well, and I do know for a fact, Jana, it can fit a head through it. And the reason I know this is a few Christmases ago, we did a fun little event and Anthony stuck his head through it. So I do know that a head can go right through it. It's big enough to fit a human size head. Nice and tall, which is great. When you get those king size quilts, you get a lot of fabric. And you know, a lot of machines do have that bigger throat space, so the length across, but they're still really short.
Deep,
So as you're rolling your big old king quilt, it's getting taller and taller and taller, and then you've run out of room. Even though you've got room this way, you don't have it this way. So it's such a great feature on the Little Rebel.
Yeah, some other things that the Little Rebel has is it's M-class bobbins. So that larger bobbin, it's almost 50% more than the ones that domestic use. So you're gonna have a lot less bobbin.
Oh, thank you.
Out.
Look, Jeremiah is gonna show. Oh, look, we've got it there. And then Jeremiah, we're gonna pop you up again.
Bobbin.
Look how big that is. You're doing such a great job there, Jeremiah, showing us all. Yes, it's a big, huge bobbin. And it takes a while for it to run out.
Yeah, it's so helpful. Plus there's a light down in the bobbin case area to help you change that out. There's throat lights here you can't really see because we've got the
I want to talk about throat lights a little bit. So, you know, we all are excited when there's throat lights, but because the machines have had them, it's not like a big deal. I'm in the middle of doing a quilt and I decided to leave everything on. Don't do that at home. But I decided to leave everything on because I was going to come back right first thing in the morning, but I wanted to turn my lighting down. So I turned down my lighting on my machine, turned my throat lights off. I went back upstairs and had forgotten that I had turned my throat lights off, and I'm like, this is just not looking right. I can't see my stitches. It's so glary. I even had my light bar on and it just didn't look right.
The shadows were wrong.
The shadows were wrong. And all of a sudden I realized I had turned off my throat lights. It makes such a huge difference quilting.
Yeah.
You can see those stitches, see where you know, whether they're consistent. It's a huge difference.
Yeah, it's just that extra bit is helpful on there.
Yeah.
Also, it has, for the threading guide, it has some pad printing on the side, so that's helpful. It also comes with a lot of different things. Oh, there's our pad printing, and you can see our reverse button, our start and stop button, needle up, needle down. Some people don't realize that with the Little Rebel, you can push the needle up, needle down, and it will beep, and then it'll always end that way. So if you have it up, you push the button, it'll end with it always up. You push the button when it's down, it'll always end when it's down. So you have that option of how you want your machine to start and stop.
Which I think is funny because all quilters are different.
True.
Like some people love it up, some people love it down. It's usually however you started sewing and are used to it, that's the way you like it. So I love that we give that option for that on the Little Rebel.
And then some other things that come with the Little Rebel for the sewing side.
Yes.
You're going to get the base, the sewing base, and
Yes.
it's 18 by 24. It's not used on the frame.
No.
But when you're sewing, just give yourself a little bit sewing area. Oh, it looks like Jeremiah.
I'm
do you
going to
have
show
one?
that off because it's very impressive. Yeah.
It is, yes.
Oh yeah, he's got one there.
Look at how big this table is. So this will attach to your Little Rebel.
Just slides on.
Slides on, and it gives you so much area, especially when you're doing push quilting, which the Little Rebel does fantastically. Gives you so much area to set your quilt and your fabric on. Even if you're doing some sewing on clothing or
Well, even when
other
you're sewing
things.
your piecing, as
Yeah.
you're getting bigger and bigger and bigger, that's so helpful for when we're getting to that point. And you can see there on the back, it's got the little legs that help stabilize it.
Yep. They pop right up, give you that extra
And
stability.
it folds up when it's on the machine. That's what I do.
And it's really nice to fold up that way, that it makes it so much easier to change your bobbin. You just pop up your table, pop your bobbin in because it's a front loading bobbin and not a top loading, a front loading, which is so nice.
So nice, yeah.
With the bobbin light on it, it makes it easier with that table to pop up and change that bobbin.
Yeah, there's that bobbin in there and you can see the light. It also comes with a foot pedal because even though it has a start and stop, some people like the foot pedal option so that they,
Yes.
just more familiar with the domestic machine. It comes with your sewing feet. So this is your presser feet for when you're piecing. So you have a quilting foot with the edge. Oh, yeah, there you go. We've got a zipper foot and a straight stitch. So again, it's a straight stitch machine, perfect for piecing.
There
It
we
comes
go.
all in there. So all of that stuff was there, and an open toe foot from the side.
Oh, I
So
love my
if you're
open
push
toe foot.
quilting on your and not on the frame, then you can see the needle
Yeah.
as you're sewing that way as well.
Guide bar as well, which is
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, and the guide. Yeah. 'cause
Yes.
Sometimes it gets covered up where your 1/4 inches, your 3/4,
Yeah.
and it's like, well, where is it? That guide helps you keep straight of where it's supposed to be. Plus 4 packages of needles,
Yes.
some bobbins,
Some thread.
oil, thread cones, netting to help hold it in place. So just all the things that you need to get started right out of the box.
Yeah.
It's got all the supplies.
Right.
So you can practice and work on it. And if you're getting it with the cutie comes with a little practice panel.
Yep.
Just everything you need to just play and have fun at the very beginning.
One
Yeah.
question, ladies.
Yes.
You ever say what the official weight of the Little Rebel is?
Oh, yes, it's 28 pounds
Which
outside of
is
the box.
Incredible. That's incredible for a machine of that size to only weigh 28 pounds.
It's
That's
so
important.
easy to lift, and it has a
And
handle.
it has a handle. I don't know if you can see the handle, but it has a handle here. So not only, really, you can stick your hands underneath, but just to give you that extra, or if you're carrying it this way, I
Yeah.
know I've had some other domestic machines when I take it off the frame, I'm like, oh yeah, this isn't the Rebel. Oh,
Yeah, it's
because we're
true.
using it with our Sure Stitch Elite, and I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, this is like half the size and 3 times the
It
weight.
is so true. Yes, you'll go to put it onto a frame, to either the cutie frame or the mini quilter, and you're like falling to the ground trying to lift the domestic machine because the Little Rebel is so nice and light.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think if there's any questions about the Little Rebel
Yes.
or the cutie, please put them in the comments. But I think we're ready to move over to Quilt Motion.
Yes, and we are
automation.
so excited to talk about automation. So it was one of the scariest things once I started this job to learn, and I got bits and pieces and never fully understood it until I finally got my own setup at home. And now I love automation. I love talking about automation. I love using automation. I love how versatile QCT is and all the different levels. Automation is awesome.
So there's 3 tiers, like you're saying, all the different
Yes.
levels, 3 tiers, and on the screen you can see here the 3 different and what comes with each one. So first is the QCT6. You can see it's got embedded tutorials, edge-to-edge, simulation, machine activation, and quilting interface. So that all happens. It's all you need to run QCT6. Then when you go to Plus, you'll notice there's 2 blue sections that are a little bit lighter, and that's because those are part of the edge-to-edge group.
Yes.
So you get that in Plus and Pro, and once you get the gold card, but they're not part of the Plus and Pro. Because I've had people say, well, I don't have embedded tutorials in Plus. It's like, right, they're in edge-to-edge.
Yes.
You can access that from Plus, but the Plus doesn't have the embedded tutorials.
Let's even talk about if you go straight to Pro or straight to Plus, you still can access QCT6. And you mentioned tutorials, and I just want to give a little more information on that because it comes specifically with 6. You don't have the embedded tutorials with 6 Plus and 6 Pro, but I love to tell people when they buy Plus or Pro, start with 6. The first couple practice quilts, the tutorials are step by step by step, and it doesn't let you move on to the next step until you do that step.
And we're going to show that here in just a moment.
So I love that you get that with all 3 levels. You just have to go back into 6 to use it. So when you first get any level of automation, start with 6, go in there, learn how to use it, then you can go into Plus and Pro and use the extra features. Yeah.
And like we said before, if you get QCT6 edge to edge, it's just a software upgrade. You don't have to get a whole new box and replox everything and put it all together, call Tops and say, hey, how do you put this together again? So so the 6 to 6 at Plus and Pro. So Plus gives you ability to do pattern placement, and then Pro is the design features.
Right.
And so it depends on where you're quilting or what you're ready to do for all those different things.
So starting with QCT6, what it is going to let you do is one line of edge-to-edge pantographs. So one line of design from one side of your quilt to the other. You do your one line, you reset your pattern, do your next line, and continue on throughout your quilt.
So it has you do one design for the whole
quilt. Yes.
Now, Megan, you said you had an example of an edge-to-edge. We'd love to see that.
Yes,
we didn't grab a sample of.
We did.
Like we have quilts up here, but they're not all edge-to-edge.
Look how beautiful that is. It is so bright. And Megan, you did that on edge-to-edge.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, look how beautiful that quilt is.
And it doesn't look like a simple design.
No.
It doesn't look like, oh, I can see definitely where one starts and where it stops. It's just the pattern that was chosen, and it goes all the way. And I think a lot of times people think that they have to do all the different things. I have to design this and I have to do this. And you can do borders and corners with gold. You can do these different things. But I think that quilt looks beautiful just with the one design.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it is nice. You get a bunch of patterns. It's a little over 100. Yeah, 100 patterns on the QCT6. So quite a few to start with, which is really, really nice. And each time we do an update, a few more patterns are in there. So that's exciting. Now we're going to move to the middle level. This is QCT6 Plus. And this is actually, I love this level just because it gives you a little extra option, one of my favorite options. And you'll see Janet just clicked on select and sew. So what this is giving you a block pattern option. So if you have a beautiful quilt that you've done and it's got blocks in it, you want to set a design within just that block. It gives you all of these different block patterns to choose from that you can choose your 4 points of your block, whether it's a perfect block like some of you sew, or a little scooey wonka block like some of the others of us sew.
Like me sew.
It lets you choose where those points lay, whether it's perfectly square or whether it's a little off or even like a triangle. And you can put that pattern within that block. So that is not included in the first level, but on the Plus level, that is included. So I love the Plus level because it gives you the edge-to-edge designs, 2 rows at a time versus the 1 row, as well as able to add that block in there.
And it adds in 200 more patterns
Yes.
than you had previously with edge to edge. So with the plus, you're getting 300 patterns that you can do, like she said, triangles and pantographs and block placement. So it has all that stuff. But then the Pro, people are like, well, how many more patterns do I get with Pro? That's not what you're paying for the extra part for Pro. For Pro, you're getting the design features.
Yes.
So that's, you can do pantograph, more rows. You can do pattern CAD. This one's my favorite in the Pro features. So I can import a picture and trace it, or I can just come here and draw my own pattern. And if I like it, I can keep it. If I want to try again, I can redo it. So I can get wherever I want this pattern to be, whatever I'm trying to draw, right? And there's so many other features. You can have mirrors, you can have the easy, you can adjust the node spacing, you can snap to the grid, all this fun stuff going on with Pattern CAD.
This is such a great feature for all of you out there that are true artists that have that ability. Not all of us do, but I know there's so many people out there that have the ability to draw beautiful things.
Right, I mean, like they're the next level of quilters.
Exactly.
I had a quilter who it was one of our other dealers there in Utah, and they went down to Moab and took a picture of their Jeep in front of the arches, imported the picture, traced it, and then they're able to print that out on.
That's so cool.
I know, right?
Such a fun feature. I love that with the Pro level. The other nice thing with the Pro level is it allows you, if you're doing a beautiful design, you're like, I kind of like this free motion that I'm doing, you can start recording that free motion design as you're working on your quilt, and it will save that as a pattern so you can use it later on as an automated pattern.
Yeah, or if you have someone who has drawn something, a little kid or a grandchild or someone, you can put their pattern here on your quilt or their picture and then hit record. Then as you're moving, it's gonna start keeping track of what that drawing looks like, and then you can use it again.
And this is super fun for all of those of you that have grandchildren. I've used this with my granddaughter. She loves to do just little scribbles, and so I've traced it and then put it into a quilt that I then given to her. Just kind of fun little memories other than keeping their drawings that they've done. You can just put it into a quilt since that is your kind of art, right? And then
the last one of Pro is Quilt CAD, which is designing your quilts all at one time.
Yes. So we have a bunch of different squares or zones. You can place different blocks within the zones. So you can choose a pattern. So we're going to put the cute little teddy bear in these blocks. And then Jana's going to choose some other blocks and put a different pattern in those blocks. And this works, so well for not having to think about it. You design it all out to begin with, and then you've got it all placed and ready to go.
Yeah, so again, that other level of what you're trying to accomplish without having to do too much crazy stuff.
Yes. And then our final thing that we have with our QCT is called a gold card. Now the gold card only works once you've had the Pro version of QCT. So you've gotten 6, you've gotten Plus, you've gotten Pro, and then all of a sudden you're ready for something a little bit different. So this is our gold card, and it's a yearly subscription on top of your Pro. Gives you multi-pattern placements, corners and borders. You can stack your pantographs, so different pantographs within your quilt. Font maker.
Yeah, that
and
one's
font
super
stitcher.
fun.
That one is one I've talked about before. I am a huge fan. Every quilt I have made, and I'm probably up to about 10 or 15 now. I think around 15. Every quilt I've ever made has a little saying hidden within the quilt. And it usually has to do with whoever I'm giving the quilt to. So I love to use the font stitcher for that. And that comes with the gold card.
That one's awesome. My favorite is either the fabric compensation or the pattern eclipse. Both of those, I'm going to go into here so I can show you. So the pattern eclipse is the absence of quilting in your area. You can see there on the left side, it's all quilting. Then you say, okay, take out this diamond, and then on the right, what it'll do is it'll stitch around that section.
It's amazing.
Totally different than,
yeah.
It's the opposite of what you're usually doing with your quilting.
I've had a lot of customers that have shown us at different shows and whatnot. They love to use this if they're embroiderers. So they've embroidered a bunch of pieces and then quilted those together, and they want to quilt around their embroidered areas and not on top of their embroidered areas. So they use the eclipse to do that.
And then the other is fabric compensation. As much as we might think that our quilts are completely flat on our frame, they're not. And so this fabric compensation allows you for those sections of your quilt that aren't quite flat. So it helps take care of those issues so that you have, like you can see here, how that fabric might go kind of different as you're quilting along.
Yes, and this is really good for those of us that are not straight and know that we're not straight. I mean, it's a great feature to use.
Well, and all fabric isn't
It's
straight,
true,
right? Like
it's
the
true.
automation is flat, but our quilts aren't flat.
Exactly.
Taking the 2-dimensional to the 3-dimensional. But let's go through our QCT 6 edge to edge, kind of show you the tutorial, because I think that's the one that most people are like, show me that.
Yes,
Let's
yes.
see
So we'll
works.
show you how easy it is to use the tutorial, how to set your pattern and let it go. All right, so we're gonna move into this camera here. So this is our edge to edge. To get in, we're going to just click on the button, and it's welcoming you there.
Right, the embedded tutorials that have already started.
Yes, and you'll see a QR code there. It's a video that kind of shows you what you're doing, that sort of thing, so you can start there. Okay, now we're going to click on this next button, and this is telling you how to use the tutorial. It lets you hear, once you've done this a bunch of times, the tutorial will just slow you down. So it allows you to turn off here. We're going to keep it on because we're going to talk about each and every step and show you how easy it is to do automation. All right, so we're going to... All right, fabric fit selection. So with smaller quilt tops, it likes to know where in the area of the quilt that you are. Are you starting on the left? Are you on the right? Are you in the center? This works really well when you're on a cutie frame or a smaller frame, right, Jana?
Right, because you're not going to have, with a rolling rail, the whole quilt is always going to be there. But with the cutie, you could be fitting the entire quilt here, or you could be having just portions of it. So that tutorial is going to help us know exactly what we're doing next.
Right, so we are basically telling the automation program where we are on our quilt. Okay, next. So now this is, we're telling it whether we're at the, whether we are using a larger quilt that's hanging off the side of the frame, or whether we're doing like a smaller table runner or crib size quilt, something that fits within the area of the cutie frame. So here, for example, we are using a smaller quilt top, so we're going to choose this one here. Okay, Jana, talk about what we're doing here, the safe area. This is an awesome feature.
Right, so in our safe area, it's going to have us select what is the top left area and what is the bottom right. Now, even though I can move this all the way over, if I hit it too hard, right, it's going to bounce off. So I want to come all the way to where I can pull it and then bring it forward about 1 inch. So as it's quilting, it's not going to accidentally pop into anything, right? Same thing for the back. I can bring it all the way back here, but my little clip right here is going to have to bring it forward just a little bit so that I'm not bouncing into that as it sews over. So I'm going to bring our left section. I'm going to say, okay, ready? This is our top left. I'm going to set that, and then it's going to ask me to do the bottom right. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to bring it all the way to the right, and Kathy's going to grab that. Same thing. She can bring it all the way over and see how far it comes and how far forward she wants to come. Now, you can use a ruler base in the front here. that just means you need to extend your frame far enough so that the ruler base isn't hitting it.
Absolutely.
But depending on what space you have is where you're gonna mark that bottom right.
And I personally don't like to use the ruler base when I'm using automation, just because I'm not using a ruler. So yeah, I take it off for that. So now we have the fun part of selecting our pattern. All right, so we're going to select our design.
Now, you didn't have to say, now I'm gonna select my design,
No.
because it has that step-by-step,
It's
everything
telling
that you
us
need to do.
what
Yeah.
to do. So what design do we want to go with today, Jana?
I like this one,
All right.
this diamond dizzy.
Ooh, isn't that beautiful? So it shows you right here, the edge to edge is going from one side of your quilt to the other side. That pattern Jana picked in that edge to edge design.
And then we're gonna hit next, and then it's gonna tell me, hey, now you need to look at the height. So it allows us to put what height it works well together, right? It's gonna show you, hey, give you some examples of things that you should or shouldn't do. Right now it's set at a 2-inch, but if I wanted that larger, I can just come and press the plus and make it a larger design. If I wanted to go less, then I hit the negative button so that it does a smaller design. And then if I think, oh, no, let me reset, go back to the beginning again, I can always hit the reset button, but if I'm ready, I hit next.
All right. Okay, and then we are only doing one row at a time, but the automation program likes to know how much spacing you want between each of your rows when you go to reset it. So in this step here, we are telling it how much space do we want between each of our rows when we go to set the next row.
And the nice thing is you can tell it, but it's gonna show you so that you don't have to just guess like 2 inches, I guess, maybe.
Yes. Okay, so we've got it here set at 0 inches between each row. Jana's gonna give it a little bit extra space to spread it out a little bit. So,
or if you want it to nest completely, you can keep it at the 0 and maybe go a little bit negative.
yes, so you could even go and almost attach it there. So it gives you different options, so the look will look a little different on each one.
And if at any point, you'll notice on the left part of the screen, bottom left, it says back. We can go back and reset everything. You don't need to just be like, oh, that's it, I selected it, I'm done. I can't change it.
It's true, it's true. You can always go back. Okay, so this is asking where in the quilt you are working. Are you working towards the top side of your quilt, the center of your quilt, or the bottom of your quilt? Or if you have a small project that fits within the hoop area, you can click on that as well. Gives you different options, and it's very important to choose, at the top, it needs to know that you're at the top of your quilt. At the bottom, it needs to know you're near the bottom. Within the center, you're gonna choose that quite often because you're working within the center of your quilt more than the one row of top and one row of bottom.
So next we've set our safe zone, but it's gonna want us to set where we're gonna start quilting. Now our quilt is larger than where our safe zone was. So we're not gonna, you'll be thinking, well, why are you starting all the way inside? That's because of the way we have our quilts, but I would have moved it over.
Yes.
But, so we're gonna set now where our safe area is gonna start. So I'm gonna click on my nodes. Now it's gonna tell me, hey, you're above where that safe area was, because I went too high from where we'd set our safe area. So
now
if I
she's
come back
moving it down, there we go.
and it's got to be at least 2 inches.
There we go.
There we know. It's green, which means it's allowed to be within that safe area.
Okay, and you see there's 4 nodes there. Now Jana's going downwards. I like to go across typically, just so I can see my straight line, and then I go below and do the next. Everyone does it a little different. You'll find the perfect way for you that you feel like you're getting a nice, accurate line. And you can see she can reset it until she feels like her line is exactly straight. And each time you move the machine to the corner where the node is, you'll touch the node until it's green and ready to go. All right, so now we're going to place it. So start and stop area.
Yes, so it feels like, okay, I've set my outside area, I've set my start quilting area, but now I'm going to set my placement. So I'm going to go off of my area just slightly so that it will quilt to the end of it. As you can see, it's really adjustable.
Yes.
Now it's going to ask me for a single stitch. So I'm going to say, I'm going to tap the move left, and it's going to come all the way to the left of where it is. And it'll ask me, is your needle up? Because I don't know how many people have
tried to move their machines with their needle down.
And then they've ruined their quilts.
So it's nice the little tips and tricks are embedded in the tutorial. So it tells you, make sure your needle's up. Don't try moving your machine with the needle down so you're ripping your quilt top.
So I've got my needle stitch here. Now, if I was quilting for real, if we were doing this whole thing, I would put a sticker right here so that I would know where it is. It's going to move to the right now. Again, make sure your needle is up. If you had that needle, the end when the needle is down, chill your quilt. Okay, and then we're going to do our needle stitch, our single stitch there. And again, I would mark it with a sticker. If I was quilting for real. In this case, I'm just going to pull it out. So then we're going to get to that point where it stitches all the way through.
Right.
And each of those tutorials, it'll just have you work down, because we said it's all fitting in there. It'll go down, down, down. If it was only part of it, it would have you move it over first and then go down and over.
Yes.
So I want to make sure we have enough time to talk about a giveaway.
Yes.
And our specials. So if you have any questions about the tutorial, Jeremiah, Megan, all the team at Tops, they can walk you through it. You can go and see it and play with it at their store and see, what does this tutorial look like? What kind of specials are there, you know, as you're moving through, so that you can try it and not just buy it and then go, well, now I own it. Go and try it out first.
Yes, don't do that. If you're feeling like, oh, I got this and now what do I do? Please give Tops a call. Please give Grace a call. We are here for you to help you, walk you through it. But it's nice, go back into QCT6, go through the tutorial step by step by step until you're feeling very comfortable with why you're doing each step.
Now, if you own QCT5 and you're like, oh, that seems like a really nice thing, you're in luck. Update is free to QCT6. So if you had beginnings or pro, you can just for free update to QCT6 and you get edge to edge with it. So if you've been thinking, wow, I would like to buy that, I just don't know what that pricing is, don't worry, there is no pricing, it's free. But if you have Plus and you want to go to Pro, or you have Beginnings 5 and want to go to 6 Pro, that's an upgrade and there is a cost for that.
But not buying the whole program again, it's just an upgrade. Yep, exactly.
But we've got some special pricing just for Tops.
Yes.
Better than anybody else.
Yes. So we do have right now Cutie Breeze Little Rebel combo. The pricing that we have for this combo is going to be, let's put this up on the screen, $2,879.10, right? Yeah, $79.10. Let's see, we're getting it here.
Which is a great
It's really good price, and it's on that price through the end of the month. Now, where you're going to get a super awesome deal is on your automation. So if you're ready to buy your machine, your frame, or even just automation, or if you want to buy all three of them, the pricing that we have here with Tops is going to be better than anyone else right now for the automation.
And that's good for a week.
It is.
So don't think, oh, I have until the end of the month or next Friday. You have to go through next Wednesday only. Contact Tops specifically. Again, that code.
Grace20.
Grace20.
Yes.
I think it's in the banner section for what our pricing is for the QCT6,
Yes.
the Plus, and the Pro available. Maybe I'll go see if I can help.
Gianna will
I'll
step
go see if I
aside
can
and
help.
just pop up those prices for us right now. So you have until the end of the month for the pricing on the Little Rebel Cutie Breeze combo, but only 1 week through next Wednesday if you're wanting the special pricing, which will pop up here on the screen in a moment for the automation, whether it's the QCT6, the 6 Plus, or the 6 Pro. So 6 right now is $26.99. Plus, which is the next level up, gives you extra patterns as well as the block pattern capability, $44.99, and then the Pro is $64.99.
Those are such good prices.
You can only get this price at Tops. I mean, you can't get it through us here at Grace.
Don't even try.
Don't even try. We'll
Don't
tell
call
you
us.
to call Tops, and you want to use the code GRACE20 to get that price.
Yeah, so let's put up that, there's
There
the
we
code
go.
right there. And then the price for the Little Rebel and the Cutie. Add automation to it. That is still a good price.
Yes.
Through the end of the month, $28.79.10.
Yes.
But I think we have just a couple minutes left. We were going to do a giveaway, right?
Yes. So for those of you that may have registered in advance for this,
Thank you.
Thank you for doing so. We got quite a few registrants this time around. And if you didn't register in advance, make sure to do so next time. You would just click on the registration link either on Top's website or on the Grace website. But for those of you that have registered, you registered for a free light bar. Now let's talk about this light bar. This light bar is amazing. It's a 10-foot light bar, so it gives us 4 lights across
Yeah,
your
this is the 8
sewing
foot,
area.
so it's only 3, so it's 1 more than this.
Yes. So it can go across your Cutie Breeze, your Little Rebel, and then even across your sewing table. If you've got it all lined up, it'll go all the way across. Gives
But you
so
can
much
set it
light.
up as 5 foot, 8 foot, or 10, and it does like open a little bit, so you can stretch it to 11.
Yes,
so it's
yes.
a pretty awesome light bar.
It really is. So we would like to give a little drum roll. This is just random draw for those who registered, and our winner of the 10-foot light bar today is going to be, ready? Karen Whedon. Congratulations. You have
Karen.
won the 10-foot light bar. Now we will get in contact with you to get your address to mail this out
Yes,
to.
that will come from Allegra at graceframe.com, so
Yes.
you can coordinate with her. but-
Yes, so if you see email coming from Allegra at graceframe.com,
It's
don't
not a
be
scam.
concerned. It's not a scam. It's you're the winner. Congratulations. And then if you want to purchase one of these light bars, which let me tell you how much light it puts so much light in our show area that when we turn the lights off at the end of the show day, or if we turn them off to show people how dim it gets in the middle of the show day, people think the show is closing down.
Yeah, it's
That's
so
how
different.
much light. Oh, we didn't plug this one in here because we have so much light here in the showroom.
It doesn't show it the right
Yes,
way. yeah.
exactly. But it is amazing. It will change the show. Oh, look at that, Jeremiah. Look how much light that puts up and
Oh,
over
yeah.
the frame. It's
You can't even
a
see the
game
lights, and
changer.
you can see it already.
Yes, so if you're interested in getting one of these lights, again, it comes in a 5-foot or a 10-foot, or you can add a 2-foot extension, make it 12. The 10-foot can also be sized down to an 8-foot. Tops has these lights. They can go ahead and get you set up with one of these.
And they come free. The 5
Yes.
foot, if you're getting, I know we didn't talk about it, but if you
Yeah.
go and you're doing a Q-zone hoop frame, the 5 foot comes free with it.
Yes.
So, I mean, at that point, like if you were paying for the light and the frame, yeah, it's really awesome.
Yes, there's so many great specials going on, and Tops has all of these specials. So if you're trying to decide what size frame, what machine, what automation level, they'll be able to answer your questions. We've got the phone number here going across, and a 941-766-7118. This is the Port Charlotte store. So if you call that number, you will get these wonderful people here answering your phone, Jeremiah and Megan, and they can answer any questions that you may have. Jeremiah and Megan, is there anything that we have missed that you'd like your customers to know?
No, you guys have done great. I do want to add that our next virtual event with Grace is August 20th. So
Okay.
our next virtual
Yeah, join us then.
ladies. And again, the code is GRACE20. You can use that on our website, topspecingsewing.com. You can also use that code in the stores. And then, of course, just to add this to what we're doing today, free shipping and no sales tax if your product ships outside.
Oh my gosh, that's such a big thing.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I'm so glad that we could join you and have these amazing deals. Again, contact Tops. Thank you for joining us today, and we will see you on August when, Jeremiah?
20th.
August 20th. We will see you. We'll get it up on the top site and on our Grace site as well, so you'll be able to register in advance. We'll get that up pretty quickly now. So we are excited. Thank you so much for joining with us. Thanks for having us today, Tops. We love you guys, and it's so good to talk with you.
You too. Thanks,
See you next
Catherine.
time.
Thanks, Jana.
Bye-bye. Bye,
Have
Jeremiah.
a great
Bye,
day.
Megan.
Bye.